Right, hey everybody, we are actually in the eye wall of a slightly stronger Ada. It is unbelievable. Whipping here.
This old job is always causing stress.
I'm tucking the truck here.
All I ever do is work. I don't get no rest.
Man, I got some video footage.
Night is on the way.
Crazy. Let me see if I can get outside.
I'm in trouble walk.
He just wouldn't believe how much rock in the truck is. Oh shit.
Oh, man, drunk donkey IPA. Let that magic mango chase my blues away.
We're in the eye of Ada here in Key Largo.
Among my friends.
Tremendous
I swear the page goes live.
coming in. Currently. I'm semi-protected here by my truck, so no worries, but semi-protected. I don't want to get the camera wet, and the trees beside me are completely sideways. I'm not sure what the gusts are, but definitely this is a tropical storm. I think we're seeing a little higher gusts. I got the back turned right now, and trying to keep the camera from getting wet. We're in Key Largo. We're in the eye of Ada.
What's going on, everybody? We weren't supposed to be live today. If you are a diehard follower, we usually only go Monday, Wednesday, Friday, but I had a lot of people asking, so I rushed home, and Shelly was on board, so here we are. We're not gonna go too long. No dogs. Won't be able to read too many comments. I just want to show what's cooking, what's brewing, what we can expect. I know everybody's got Christmas parties and plans and flying and all this stuff, but those are questions nobody can answer, except we know pretty much when this is all happening, which I think is a win. Anytime we at least know something's coming and when, that's a big step, right? So we might even have to reschedule our Christmas party Saturday night. I don't know if people will want to come if there's a tornado watch. So anyway, good morning. We'll be live tomorrow for sure, but we're just gonna go right into it. So this is like we're tracking more than we've tracked during August. It seems like the last month, right? So we have a strong jet stream coming in, a lot of El Nino, basically. You know, we've talked a lot about El Nino winters, a lot of rain in the south, a lot of storms in the south. This is totally part of what we're seeing. Current winds. So this is live, pretty much. And I don't know if you saw my post earlier, but our buddy Paul with Tiger Dam, a lot of the cities down there are putting Tiger Dam flood protection along the beaches, and it's working because they have so much sand that blows from the beaches onto the city that they have to shut roads down. They have to bring, so these things are working, you know, and they're worried about flooding. So I was surprised to see it, but man, strong winds happening now. This is all due to a high pressure to the north. This is not connected to what's coming this weekend, but this is going to continue. Strong winds pushing towards the East Coast for the next several days, actually. We go through Friday tonight. Strong winds, 40s, 50s, pounding the coast. And this is going to continue all the way until our low pressure sets up sometime on Saturday. So let's start talking about that. That is the big question. We do now have a Storm Prediction Center outlook. So I'm not going to talk about the hype comments, but it's official now. At least we have to watch it. And if you notice, the tone of a lot of Mets is like, hey, we got potential storms coming Saturday night. The Storm Prediction Center is talking about nocturnal tornadoes. That would mean Saturday night into Sunday for the peninsula. That's going to extend towards the Carolinas on Sunday morning-ish, afternoon-ish. So this low pressure area is going to continue to deepen. So this is not just a Florida storm. But because of the nature of any sheared system, this is not a hurricane, this is not a tropical storm, but it feels like one, and it's going to act like one. Because our low will be here, we have really fast winds blowing in from all directions, from the east, from the north. So the brunt of the storms are going to be fueling into that peninsula, even though our low is maybe even going up to the panhandle. So as any sheared system, you get a lot of storms and a lot of rains and a lot of instability. So Storm Prediction talking about tornadoes. This is 3 days out. They usually don't get too aggressive on their outlooks 3 days out. So the fact that it's already dark green probably means we're going to have a yellow, which is the next level up. This was just put out from National Hurricane Center, Taft. It just kind of shows you developing gale. They're gale force winds as our low. This is Friday. And here's our Saturday low, smack dab off the Florida west coast. Now, again, it's not a hurricane. It's not organized. It's attached to a frontal line. It's not really a closed low per se, but it's going to act like one. So there you go. Forget about the seas. I mean, the Gulf and Atlantic is dangerous. Like, unbelievable winds out there right now along the waters. I just saw a webcam from Fort Lauderdale. Unbelievable beach action already. And this is going to continue through tomorrow. So I did post this morning, since we never got Vince. I figured we could name this system Vixen in honor of Rudolph. Dasher and Danner, all of them. We actually had to Google it. I knew it was a V storm. This is the 850 millibar. For some reason, that scared everybody. 850 millibar. I post them a lot. That's winds above surface, but it shows you that those winds in the above surface over land can create instability and can help storms. So it was an 850 millibar system. It's 850 millibar winds. I post them a lot. It's just there's a little more panic in the air, I think. I don't know. All right, so we know it's going to be a lot of rain. This is the current rainfall. Just showing you basically 2 to 3 inches all across pretty much all of Florida, all the way through Georgia and the Carolinas into Virginia here. Still looking at the highest totals on the southeast coast. Now, very, very realistically, we're going to see a lot higher isolated spots. You get these rain trains. We talk about them all the time. Because we're going to have solid lines of storms pumping in at a solid common direction, there's going to be places isolated that are going to have way more than this, for sure. We already have a flood map out for Friday here, or Saturday, excuse me. So we got flood map posted here for Saturday across the whole peninsula, and then we have one extending northward for Sunday. So again, this is just not a Florida storm. It's going to be a Carolina storm as we get things pumping in off of the Atlantic. So a few models here. I guess I want to show you first. Let's just go to Tropical Tidbits and start off there. Kind of show you timing of rains. I guess we could do it here too. Let's just do the rains. Well, the hours. I'm trying to think of the best way to do hours. But the consistency is there as far as timing goes. It's kind of hard with the Z hours, but at least we get a good idea. So let me go to southeast here, and here we go. Timing of rains. Okay, so here's the Euro. So things start ramping up. Currently, too, by the way, if you look at the actual water vapor loop, you can see where this is all stemming from. Look at this current water vapor loop. It's incredible, right? This is stretching from Florida all the way to the Pacific, part of the Pacific jet stream, El Nino. All this moisture is what's bubbling in the Gulf of Mexico. It's got a surge of energy coming down, an upper level dip into 500 millibars. This is going to combine and create this instability. So there's a lot of unknowns with how severe things could get across Florida initially, and the fact that we're dealing with a warm front, warm temperatures, warm water from below. That's why the right side of this system and the southern side of this system is going to be the strongest side, because there's still warm air, warm waters, more, just generally more unstable air. But that's interesting to show, is the water vapor pumping in all the way across to the Pacific right now. But as we get into, all right, so here's Friday night, tomorrow night. Friday night, you can start to see signs of our low popping down there. And throughout the day, let's go to Saturday morning. This is Saturday morning. So we can already start to see some sprinkles somewhere across Florida tomorrow morning. The heavy stuff obviously is around the isobars. Storms up here to the top with Louisiana still showing up for tomorrow or Saturday morning. This is that other little energy pop that's going to combine. It's going to create all this instability. As we go throughout the day on Saturday, 6 hours later, this is about afternoon on Saturday. Already seeing heavy rain. Really getting the heavy stuff showing up on radar now for Saturday afternoon. Saturday evening, boom, there you go. This is when we're going to start seeing the effects of a tropical system. It's not tropical, but it's going to feel like one, because we're going to have feeder bands. We're going to have rotating, bands coming in. We're going to have a lot of winds. One big question mark already happening. We've talked a lot about it. These winds pushing into southern Georgia and northern Florida are already starting to show signs of surge currently today. But what we're going to see on the Florida West Coast initially is this rotating storm. I'm going to show you. We can see effects. I posted earlier, 2 a.m. Madeira Beach. This low is going to be sitting right off the coast of Tampa Bay. High tide. I would not be surprised if we don't get discussions of sneaky surge in low-lying areas that are used to getting surge. So Saturday night, as we go 6 hours towards 1, 2 in the morning, there you go. So as we get into the nighttime hours, 10, 11 o'clock on Friday or Saturday night, there's our big blob of rains. There's our storm potential. There's our who knows. Unfortunately, overnight. Sunday morning, right here. There you go, 997 pressure on the latest Euro. That's pretty darn deep, if you ask me. Anytime you get anything under 1,000 millibars, you have a lot of winds. Expect a lot of winds, 40, 50 mile an hour gusts, not unheard of. So Sunday morning, boom, right there. It's starting to move itself into Georgia and South Carolina. So there's your Sunday, 8 a.m., basically. And then this is where they're going to start worrying about this stuff spiraling off of the Atlantic. So along Carolina, a little bit into Georgia there. Obviously, North Carolina, it's coming for you. This is Sunday midday, early afternoon, 989 pressure. So deepening pressures mean lots of wind. So there's going to be a lot of wind and storm potential coming in off of that Atlantic on Sunday for the East Coast. Now, notice Florida, Sunday midday. It's going to be out of here, it looks like. Trying to talk Julie into moving our Christmas party to Sunday. I don't know how people feel about that, but Sunday, for at least the peninsula, should be pretty much long gone. Then it's going to be a concern for the Carolinas as this thing moves on out. So 981 pressure smack dab over the Carolinas Sunday evening. That is low pressure, like a nor'easter. So there's a lot of unknowns here. You're going to have a lot of wind, a lot of rain, storm potential, beach erosion, guaranteed along the Outer Banks. You're going to see a tremendous amount of winds from this thing. And it's going to continue northward. I know we got people watching. Now, there's very, very little signs of any type of snow with this. But you're still going to get some action. So let's go into Monday morning. Here's Monday morning. Boom. All right. Starting to clear out in the Carolinas. Things are going to get pushed up there with that strong jet. So by Monday morning, Sunday night, you're going to feel the effects in Long Island, Cape Cod, and by Monday evening, right there, it's kind of gone. So no snow really showing up with this. We had a little tease here and there, but there's just a lot of warm air in place. So you might get some, but it's not really a snow event that you normally would see. There's not really polar. It's not driven by a front. It's just doesn't have a lot of cold air with it. So there's your heavy rain going into daylight hours on Monday for the Euro or the GFS. All right, so I don't know which one I showed. That was a Euro. I did it right. I think I did it right. They're both the same, GFS and Euro. Everything's lining up right now, so there's really no questions anymore as far as timing goes. Let's look at the GFS. It's obviously, here's Saturday morning on the GFS. It's been trending a little more towards the panhandle as far as center goes, but the Euro's caught up. Remember, the Euro had it going way down south, which means when it was way down south, there wasn't a lot of storm potential because most of the stuff would have probably been off to the south and the Atlantic side. But now that this thing's going more to the north, the right side of the system, there's a lot more potential for the peninsula to have some action. GFS Saturday morning, getting into noontime hours, boom. That's Saturday night. So boom, a lot of rain for the Panhandle Saturday night. Obviously, the whole peninsula going to have isolated rains and storms. Hard to tell who gets what. We get into overnight hours, 994 pressure. Again, low pressure, a lot of wind. And there's Sunday morning, same as the Euro. Sunday morning, it's starting to move out of Florida, heading towards Georgia and the Carolinas. Here's midday Sunday, and then Sunday night with it long gone Monday morning. So that pretty confident. Let's, we can really zoom in on some winds here just to show you what's going on. So the Euro, this is what I'm talking about with Tampa. Little question marks here. Now see here, Saturday at 9 p.m. So remember we talked about those continued winds on the East Coast. This is Saturday at 9 p.m. This has been going on for days. Still a couple more days of solid winds here for the Florida East Coast. 49 gusts. These are gusts, not meant to dramatize anything, but it gives you an idea. 40s across the whole state on Saturday at 9 p.m. It's not really a closed low. It's kind of part of it'll be opened up wave, but it'll feel almost the same. But this is the big question mark. As this thing approaches Saturday, here's Sunday, 1 a.m. So, depending on what's going on here, we got 40, 50 mile an hour, 40 mile an hour possibilities here off the coast. High tide at Madeira Beach, which is right here in Pinellas, 2 a.m. This is Sunday, so there's something to keep an eye on, with this surge of winds and waves as this thing approaches. As we see with the tropical system. Remember, tropical systems, the bottom side, the winds and waves come in like that. And all this warmth down here is going to fuel the storm potential for the peninsula. Driving off the waters, believe it or not, the Gulf temp's still in 80. It's 82 across the Gulf Stream here. So, 82, 83 degrees still along the Gulf Stream. So, these storms are going to have some fuel to work with. And that's why they say strong El Nino winters bring storm potential to Florida. And again, like I said, here, look what happens. Now, as we get through the day on Sunday, look at these winds here. This is what I've been talking about for days. Sunday, 3, 4 in the morning. Look at these winds, which are going to be waves. But we could be gusting along 50 plus from the Cape North. Cocoa, 51. This is Sunday morning, 3 a.m. Look, tremendous pile up of water up here. Jacksonville, St. Mary's, Brunswick. St. John River, who knows, right? Sunday morning, 5 a.m. 996 pressure, staying tight. And look at now the winds post towards South Carolina, Madeira Beach, Charleston, early Sunday morning. All the normal areas that flood, you're going to watch this close. We could have 50 mile an hour wind gusts in Charleston, 50 mile an hour wind gusts in Beaufort, Savannah. This is Sunday, 9 a.m. And it just stays strong. Look, 66 miles an hour for Charleston on Sunday, 1 p.m. Myrtle Beach, 65 miles an hour. It's going to be a tremendous rough day on the beaches on Sunday for the Carolinas. And they're talking about tornado threats, okay? Then we move on to the Outer Banks. That was going to be more Sunday night. We talked about that yesterday. Here's Sunday night, 50, 60, 60, 60, big old wind gusts. Now, the Euro sometimes overdoes it, but I don't think it's overdoing it this time when you have pressure. Look at this, 983 pressure, over Charlotte. I mean, you don't get 983 pressure systems this far south usually. So it's going to be interesting. If you're living in the Outer Banks, Sunday night into Monday, for sure, Sunday, 10 p.m. So, and then, of course, this thing's going to drag along some action here. I had somebody messaging me from Long Island earlier. I told them, overnight Sunday into Monday, there's your winds. Monday, 5 a.m. So, going to be some big winds across, the Northeast, New York, and obviously Cape Cod there. So, that's that. The sea forecast is crazy. Let's look at the rain and thunder real quick. This is just going to show you what I'm talking about. This is your rain and thunder map. So let's just say Saturday, 6 p.m. We're starting to see the rough stuff. We go into Sunday at 10 p.m. This is lightning, storms, sucking up from that Gulf Stream, Key West, all the way across the south. So you're going to have big storms Saturday, 10 p.m. Sunday noon, big time possibility. There's a long guys here. I don't know what he's mowing. I got so much crap in the yard. He's probably hates me right now. But that is intense. Okay, Florida Peninsula. This is 12 a.m. I hope I didn't say 12 p.m. This is overnight. This is why they're worried about nocturnal tornadoes. Saturday night, Sunday morning. But you can just see these storms. I mean, look at that. Massive storms. Look at this. 4 a.m. still pulling up. So we have dry air intrusion coming around on the west side, building that instability up. Big storms Sunday, 4 a.m. along the east coast of Florida now. I mean, and again, tornado potential is going to be there. It's going to be there. So it's important now to make sure you have a weather radio. If you're Florida, obviously you should always have a weather radio. But just know Saturday night and Sunday, we're going to have some stuff to watch. Oh, this clump of rains bands. Here we go. This is Sunday, 8 a.m. Now it's moving on to Georgia. Now we're starting to see the effects of these storms that I think they're going to be more worried about for the Carolinas and into Georgia here. We're going to start feeding off the Atlantic waters. We're going to have a clear-cut path to bring some action as we go out through the day on Sunday. And there it is. I mean, look at that. Look at that tail all the way down to Bahamas. I mean, this is incredible. I mean, you're going to be feeling it down there in the Caymans, possibly Jamaica, Sunday. And that is a massive stretch of storms here. The classic comma. So if you're along the Carolinas, Sunday is your day. You need to pay attention, spread the word. It can get quite stormy across the Carolinas, around Charlotte, and wherever that low pressure is. Remember, low pressures. They bring storms, and it's going to have plenty of moisture feeding those storms from the Atlantic. This is Sunday, 6 p.m. So the only reason I'm showing the Euro, all of them are very, 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 very close. My Long Island buddy, here's your storms late Sunday night into Monday morning. You're going to get some storms coming in. Not as much thunder showing up with these, just more heavy rain. Connecticut, obviously. So Sunday night, Monday, it goes north. And then by Monday, it's pretty much gone for everybody. Monday, 10 p.m., a little bit lingering maybe in Maine. So, but the wave map, you got to see this real quick. We got to show you the wave map because this is crazy. I feel bad for anybody cruising right now. It's not looking good. But buddy Jeff here in Tampa Bay, he actually said dangerous seas. I mean, I believe it, dangerous seas. It is very dangerous out there with these waves. I mean, so currently we got these strong gale force winds blowing across the Atlantic. We're already seeing 20-foot plus seas across the Atlantic. We're seeing 20-foot seas in the Gulf right now. But watch what happens here. We get to later today in the afternoon, we're starting to see 25, 30-foot seas possibly. So that beach action from the Cape down to Miami, you're gonna have, if you think the waves are big now and you think the winds are big now, it's not even going to get worse as the day goes on today. We're going to start to see some of these, maybe reach up to Jacksonville. This is tomorrow morning. So again, but watch what happens when our system takes shape. Now remember, anything yellow is 10 foot. Usually we say yellow is not good for cruising. We're beyond that. We're in oranges and reds, but now we start to see this low take shape, and the shelf waters, of course, across the Florida West Coast help reduce some of these big waves. But Sunday night, there they are, 10, 15, 20 foot off the coast here of Florida. But look what's starting to happen over here. This is really massive. Now, this is where things on Sunday get interesting for the East Coast, meaning Georgia northward. These are purple, 30, 40 foot seas. And look what happens when you get throughout the day. Even greater. 56. Now, this is not surge, okay? This is not surge. This is out in the open water, but it does, with these winds, it drives beach action. So I'm not a local up there, but it's not very often you get 56-foot seas that close off the shore. And they're getting really close to the Outer Banks Sunday night. So that's the second part of the story to watch out for. So I'm sure I missed 5 million comments about individual locations, so I apologize. Can't do it all, but anyway, so that's it. Timeline said it best. It's pretty cut and dry. We might have tornado watches up later Saturday and into the overnight hours of the Florida Peninsula. Probably going to have tornado watches up for the Carolinas on Sunday. And you can kind of read that in the wording of the Storm Prediction Center talking about day 4. Day 4, tornado threat might continue the latter part of Florida, which means early Sunday, but then Eastern Carolinas Sunday. So they're already talking about tornado chances possibly brewing for Sunday for the East Coast. And then the energy kind of loses its pop. It kind of goes north, loses energy, and goes bye-bye. So anyway, we don't know. Storm of the century, I don't know. We won't know. I mean, you can look at some satellite predictions here. I don't remember what the pressure was in the storm of the century. I haven't seen anybody relate that, but let's see. Storm of the century. What was the pressure on that? Of course, Wikipedia. Let's see. I bet it was more up north too. Well, I don't know. Let's see. Alabama had 13 inches. Well, that was snow. So that was more polar driven. We had more jet stream interaction with that, I think. Yeah, it was bad. Record cold, remember? I'm trying to find the pressure. I don't know if I can find the pressure or not. 991. The system central. 991. That's not as low as I thought. Subtropical jet stream was displaced unusually far south. Interesting. Area low pressure moved to the central Gulf of Mexico. Oh, the pressure dropped 976 in Tallahassee. There you go. So it was 976 pressure in Tallahassee. Almost the same setup. They're talking about a subtropical jet stream, and but the pressure is a little lower. New England had 960. So this one is not quite as low, but it's getting there. I mean, the NAM here, let's go back to tropical tidbits. I think the NAM is already showing pretty low, 989. None of them, though, are showing anything in the 970 range. The GFS been bouncing around. It's back to 994, 992 over Tallahassee. So it's, lower the pressure, greatest chance for storms. Obviously, Tallahassee was 976. This is 992. So, 990, whatever. I can't read it. But mid 990s on the euro. Icon, about the same. So it's going to be nasty no matter what. I mean, so here you go. I think I covered it all. I'm sure, hopefully. Can't do the whatabouts. I covered everybody. Sorry. It's not a winter. It's a. It's nothing. It's Vixen. Kyle, what causes pressure drops? Well, just a general storm. Energy. Yeah. I don't know. Yeah, really. Never really thought about a good answer for that one. Showing my non-meteorology background. I mean, the whole fluid, the whole atmosphere is fluid. Low pressure, high pressure. Lower the pressure, deepening of the storm. So it's Christmas cane. What's with? Oh yeah, the low tide in the bay. Now, who wrote that? I read something about that, Darren. That's because we have such a strong. Are we kidding? I need to go out there. Low tide. Great idea. It's because we got these winds. So almost like we saw with Ian, we saw it with Irma. We saw a lot of those two times. We have such a strong wind right now, blowing across east to west, that it's driving the water. I assume. But there you go. I mean, it's just these winds, strong winds, 30-mile-an-hour gusts today. I mean, pushing that water out of the bay. I mean, that's what happened when we had Irma to the south and Ian to the south. Because of the rotation of the storm, it sucked the water out of the bay. I wonder when low tide is here. I need to go check that out. I'm glad you mentioned that. I did see a marine alert, and it talked about it. So low tide today is 11:25. Holy cow! I need to get my butt out there right now. Next low tide's at tomorrow. 12:15. Obviously, it's about the same time. Good point. Woo, man, that was a big one long run-on sentence. Low tide, Audrey. Yeah, it might have been lower on the Gulf side. It's delayed in the bay. It takes a while for the bay to catch up to the Pinellas side. So the winds right now, if you're wondering, remember when we had Nicole? Basically, it's driven by this high pressure to the north. So if we look at current pattern of what's going on the overall scheme of things, we just have this strong high pressure in place. So let's go back to tonight. You can see it basically. There's this high pressure here, and we have really tight pressure gradients between our lows setting up. So that's the focal point, and that's kind of what happened with Nicole originally. Strong winds are wrapping around this high pressure. That's what it looks like. There's our high, big winds building out here, and they whip across Florida. And then they're going to start helping spin up our little low right here somewhere. And it's getting a little help. If we look at getting a little help from my friends. If you look at upper level winds, kind of interesting. I looked at the jet stream earlier. You can see this couple things happening. So here's the Pacific jet stream that we're looking at right now through tomorrow. That's that strong winds from Pacific. But then we're getting this dip down with that little system coming in, and that's kind of comes down into Florida, and that brings the instability through Saturday night. So there's our dip in the jet conflicting with our Pacific jet. So you get all kinds of instability anytime you get the jet stream that low down. It's 300. We go to 500, you'll see the same thing. 500 shows it a lot clearer. But that's basically it right there. Boom, see it? See a little dip? So a lot of signs that this is happening right there. Boom, that's incredible. 700 millibar signature on vorticity over Florida right there. And of course that continues up towards the Carolinas on Sunday. Maybe a little energy popping north before it fizzles out. So even Virginia, I'd be watching that general area. But pretty intense. 850, I'm sure will show up a lot of stuff too. Yeah, so a lot of times it's these wins. Like, I mean, this is the only game in town Saturday night, Sunday morning. A lot of times these wins never reach the surface, but this appears that it's going to at least try, and that brings the storms. So that's a recap. Hope it helped. Pay attention, be alert. It's happening. If you got plans in the Florida Peninsula Saturday, I'd be thinking about rescheduling them maybe to Sunday. It looks pretty good unless you're in the upper parts of Florida. You might have lingering effects later Sunday morning-ish, but by noontime, it's pretty much out of here for everybody. But that also means it's pushing towards Georgia in the Carolinas, and they're going to have extreme weather too. So a lot of folks watching this. So I appreciate it. I got a lot of stuff to do. I put on hold because of this. I read your comments. I felt bad we weren't live. I had stuff to do this morning. We announced Wednesday. On top of my website here, I actually even put when our next daily brew is, Friday, 12:15. So I got home so we could do this. Hopefully it helps. And we'll be live tomorrow. So pay attention. We'll update later today. I'll probably do a TikTok. Those have been going viral, and definitely see it tomorrow morning. All right. So yeah, it's gonna get cold. All right. Have a great day, everybody. Thanks, Shelly. See you.